What's up, guys? I'm Chef Leo, Executive Chef at Harrison's, Downtown Panama City. Come and join me as we make our delicious rock shrimp risotto. All right, guys, so now that you have your nice flat surface, you want to create what's known as a mince or a small dice, and you usually go into your shallot, and you want to go in about 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch. And the same width that you go in is the same way that you go down. Constantly keep that tip of the knife down and just do a rocking motion. If I go in 1/4 inch one way, I go down 1/4 inch the other way, and vice versa. This way we get a nice consistent slice and dice. We'll just get them set aside. This recipe calls for 8 cloves of garlic. So what we're just gonna do is just take them all and lightly mash them with the side of your knife. Again, creating that flat surface, right? Making sure that the garlic does not slide around and roll off your cutting board. Once you have them all like that, chop them up. Now, this can be done in a food processor, and it could be done days ahead of time. And if you just store it in a little bit of oil, it'll last a lot longer than getting that stuff that you get in a jar. A lot better flavor, and it's a lot fresher. All right, so now that we have our garlic chopped and set it aside, we can go ahead and get the spring vegetables cut up for the risotto. So for our springtime vegetable risotto, you can really use any vegetable you like. Here, we're going to be using some yellow squash, some zucchini, we have some fresh corn and some nice peas. So again, being that it is a cylinder and it's not really safe to cut, go ahead and cut your yellow squash in half and start cutting about 1/4 inch planks to create nice flat surface, right? And all we really want here is the color. So we will go down about 1/4 inch on either side. These center pieces you can utilize for roasting, or we use them here at the restaurant and we put them in our vegetable stock that goes into this risotto. So once you have your zucchinis and squashes cut into planks, you do want to dice them up, and to think of the size of the pea or the corn kernel, right? We want to keep everything just about the same size. So we're looking at about 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch dice here. Again, we went about 1/4 inch down the side for the planks, and now we're going 1/4 inch down strips and then creating 1/4 inch size cubes. Now, if you guys have a chopper at home or anything that can help you do this chopping, by all means use it. The purpose of this is really to maintain a consistent cut so that this way all the vegetables cook at the same rate. Once we have our zucchini diced up, we'll set it aside. If you have a lot of extra scraps or just trimmings, don't be afraid. All those trimmings can be used in your vegetable stock or adding it to your pasta dishes or anything of the sorts. And once you have everything cut up, we can start our risotto. So let's get to it. Let's start with this risotto, right? So we want to start off with a combination of about 1.5 tablespoons of whole butter and about 1 tablespoon of oil. We're going to let this slowly melt. We don't want the butter to brown. If the butter does brown, it creates this nutty flavor, and we don't want that. We will add our shallots, our 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, and we'll start to sweat this down. So when I said sweat, I was referring to a term that's used in cooking, and it's basically taking the vegetable or the item that you're cooking and turning it translucent. and making sure that it's just to the point where it's almost cooked but not fully cooked. So if you notice to my right, I have a vegetable stock or broth, right? We make this here. We use all our vegetable trimmings to make our stock. Does not necessarily mean that you have to use a vegetable stock. You can go to your local grocer and pick up, your favorite vegetable broth, beef broth, chicken broth, or you can just use plain water. So once we have our shallots and garlic slightly translucent, we're going to go ahead and add 2 cups of our risotto rice. In this case, we're using carnaroli rice, and we will coat each grain of rice with the butter and the oil mixture. And this method right here is called parching the rice. This is going to actually activate the starch within the rice. And the trick to risotto is really to constantly be stirring. You don't want to lose the integrity of the rice by turning it to mush. So you want to constantly stir it, making sure that it never sticks to the bottom. Add about a cup's worth of white wine. We'll add a pinch of salt, a pinch of black pepper, and our bay leaves. And now we're just gonna lightly stir this around. And if you see, our white wine has began to dry out, and that's what we're looking for, right? So now we will grab our ladle and we will slowly start to add our hot broth or stock to our risotto. So you can do about 2 or 3 ladles at a time. And what we really want to do is start cooking this rice by adding this hot broth and constantly stirring it. So as you stir it, you agitate the starch within the rice, creating this creamy effect. And my temperature for the stove has been at a constant medium, and that's what you really want, with your broth being at a medium low. And you're constantly stirring. So as you stir, you'll notice that your broth will start to thicken. And that's the actual starch from the rice. As you notice that, add more of your broth, but never ever stop stirring. Making sure that you get the corners of your pot. So traditionally, risotto takes about 30 to 40 minutes to cook properly. We're going to continue to add this broth until we get the desired texture and consistency. All right, guys, so now that we have our risotto prepped out, let's work on our sauce, right? So here we have some Italian parsley. We have some nice fresh chives and some tarragon. Now, tarragon is an underutilized herb. It has a very licorice, anise kind of taste to it. So we're going to start off by removing the actual leaves from the stalk or from the stem, right? And you don't want to use the stem in any application using herbs simply because they add a really woody and fibrous texture. 8 to 10 stems, which should give you roughly about 2 tablespoons worth of chopped tarragon. And you want to do the same thing for the parsley. So parsley can be very sandy when you buy it. So you want to remove all the leaves and leaving the stems separate. A quick chopping. So now that we have these all chopped up, we're going to go ahead and put it into a bowl. Now we're going to take our chives. Make sure they're all lined up again. And you're going to treat this the same way you were doing the shallots, right? Keep that tip of the knife down and just roll, right? So you get these nice little rings. Add that in there. So once you have your herbs cut, that delicious garlic that we cut up, we're going to add a tablespoon's worth to that. We're also going to take some fresh lemons. We're gonna roll them to get the juice out and get it ready to juice. And we have a box grater that has a zester on it. So you wanna just take the skin of the lemon and just zest the lemon to get the zest or the outer peel off without any of that white. So this will add that true lemon flavor. We're doing 2 lemons. This is gonna help brighten it up. Make sure we get all that. And throw that in there. Cut our lemon in half. And we'll throw the juice in there. Making sure that we get no seeds. To this, we'll add a teaspoon of some chili flake, some salt, black pepper, and about 4.5 to 5 tablespoons of really good olive oil. Then we'll mix this to create almost like a herby paste. And if you need to add a little bit more olive oil, or if you feel like it needs a little bit more lemon juice, feel free to add it. Really mix it up really good. And once you have it to this consistency, we're gonna set it aside and let all those flavors come together. To your saute pan, add another tablespoon of butter. Go ahead and grab your zucchini and squash, your corn, and your peas. We're gonna go ahead and let that butter melt. Remember not to brown that butter, as it will create a different flavor profile. So now that we have our butter melted, we wanna go ahead and add our vegetables. To those vegetables, we're gonna add our shrimp, and we're just gonna lightly saute them, season them with some salt and black pepper. And since we're using frozen peas and our corn has already been cooked, we want to go ahead and add these at the end because we don't want to lose their texture. We also don't want to lose their bright colors. So now that we have our shrimp cooked, or partially cooked, I should say, we want to take our risotto and put it right into that pan, the liquid and all. We need to start giving this a good toss. Now, risotto should be nice and creamy. It should never be dry and pasty. So if you notice that your risotto is starting to get too dry, don't be afraid to grab some more of that vegetable broth or chicken broth that you're using, right? Add it to your risotto. Reduce your temperature down to a low and lightly just keep tossing it, right? This is where you want to add your corn. Spread that around. Your peas. Some more salt. Some more pepper. We have it on a low flame. We'll add another tablespoon of butter, and that's going to add richness. It's going to add the sheen that butter gives. We're also going to finish it off with some shaved Parmesan. So now that we have our risotto cooked, give it a quick toss and kind of let that all marry. So we have some beautiful Gulf of America scallops here. In our saute pan, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of blended oil. And we're going to season these scallops with some salt and some black pepper. Now, these scallops were sitting on these paper towels for a few reasons. We want to remove any and all excess moisture from the scallop. That way we create a really good sear. My pan, I'm using a non-stick pan for this. It is better to use a non-stick pan, but you could also use aluminum, stainless steel, or carbon. So these scallops, we're gonna put face down, the seasoned side down, and we're not gonna touch them. We're gonna create a hard sear, and the scallop will let you know when it's ready to be turned. We'll turn around and we'll give these opposite side the same salt and pepper treatment. Now, with the scallop, you're gonna notice that I haven't touched them. And like I said, the scallop will let you know when it's ready to be turned. So the scallop will start searing, and you'll notice that the bottom of the scallop is starting to turn a little brown. That's your sign to reduce your heat and flip your scallop. And that's going to create this beautiful golden brown sear. Now to finish these off, we're going to add another tablespoon of butter. We're going to move the scallops towards all one side of the pan, like so. We're going to kind of tilt your pan over to create this little pool of melted butter, and you're slowly going to baste your scallops with this melted butter. Now we want to cook these to about a medium rare, medium consistency. Anything over that, you may get like rubber balls, and no one wants to chew on a rubber ball. It just becomes really dense, chewy, and it kind of loses its integrity. So once we have our scallops golden brown and delicious, and you have this nice brown butter foam, we're going to go ahead and shut it off. Once they're off, you want to remove them from the pan so that they can stop the cooking process. And now that we have our components ready, let's build the dish. All right, guys, so now we have these beautiful heirloom tomatoes, and these are going to be used for a garnish. So we're just going to cut these in half, get the nice, beautiful colors of reds, greens, yellows, and we'll toss these and that gremolata that we just made towards the end. And now we can build our risotto. All right, guys, so now that we have our risotto cooked, we should have it looking somewhat like this, where it's still kind of runny, not fully composed. We're gonna take a good amount of risotto with shrimp, the good pieces of corn and the peas and the squash. I'm gonna put it right into the center. We'll grab our seared scallops and we'll place them accordingly. We'll take some of that herb gremolata that we made earlier. We'll add it to our tomatoes. We'll give them a quick toss. That one wanted to jump the gun. And we'll just put these scattered throughout the dish. What the tomato does, it kind of cuts the fat from the risotto and the cheese and the richness that it brings. It also adds the sweetness that complements the scallop. Then we'll take more of that nice herbaceous gremolata and we'll lightly just go over each scallop. And the acidity and the spice and the herbs from this will really bring all this together. Then we're going to finish off with some microgreens. Now you can find these at your local grocer, or you could actually grow these. They take about 4 to 6 weeks to grow and germinate. And then we'll just sprinkle these all over the dish. And these add an earthy, peppery, kind of sweet flavor to the dish as well. You'll find different greens in here, and each one brings a different flavor profile. There you have it, guys. Pan seared scallop with rock shrimp, spring vegetable risotto.